You got a lot going on today too, man.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. It's starting at yes, it's starting like right after we're done and everything. That's good though. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
How you doing?
I'm good. How about you, man? It's great to finally get a chance to talk to you.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, John. This is. I was looking forward to this. Thank you so much for saying the wonderful things about the record. It's really really great. I'm really really pleased with it, and I really appreciate your compliments on it. It means a lot to us.
You know what, you guys deserve the compliments. The record is. I mean, Jimmy, the best way I could say is just fantastic. It's a smooth listen all the way through. I really do think it's the best album you guys have done. Since the first one. I mean, it's fantastic.
Well, John, what we try to do, honestly, ever since I've been in the band in 2005, we try to, always do something. I mean, we didn't know what to expect when I first joined. That's the whole thing.
Right.
They had just done a record. I think it was a year or two before that. With the original guys, except for Greg Jafria, I believe the record was called Power and Myth, and
right.
Even though even though there's some really great tracks on there, and it just wasn't. It didn't get accepted well by the fans. It doesn't mean it was a bad record at all. It's just the band took a little bit of a change. They were trying something different, which is totally cool because you're supposed to do that. It's
right.
Sometimes you don't want to just keep doing the same thing.
Right.
But at that particular time, the fans were giving it a hard time, and everything. And so basically, when I got the phone call from James, he said, "Listen," he says, "we're gonna go back to the original sound." He goes, "Can you write? Have you ever written melodic rock music before?"
Right.
And of course, I said yes. I never did in my life. Of course I can.
Absolutely.
I never wrote a melodic rock song in my life, but I wasn't going to turn this down by any means.
No, absolutely not.
But here's the thing, and James is, I always say he's a genius, but he's a real gifted musician, and I mean he plays. Not only does he sing great, he plays so many instruments too, and he produces. So I gave him the first track I ever gave him was a song called "I'm Free," and it was like a heavy song, a real heavy guitar riff with a drop D. I mean, I wasn't even sure if he was going to like it. I thought at that point he's going to say, "No, this isn't quite what I'm looking for."
Right.
But as soon as when he got it, he, did his vocals, added the harmonies, added the keyboards, and, and just did his thing to it, and boom, it changed the whole vibe of the song. Even right down to one chord, he added a, because I had a drop D thing going on, so it was all like fifth root, because I was doing on the low strings,
Right.
He added in a minor chord over one section that just brought the whole song up with him doing adding that one voicing of a full minor chord in there.
Right.
And it just, it made it come alive. And then I got it. And then I figured it out from that point on how to use what I do riff-wise and make it into a melodic rock songs. And that's what, that's what we do. We have we have a little system that we do. I always tell about is that, BJ, the drummer.
Right.
Him and I have worked together on practically every project, since he got me involved in Thunderhead back in the day. We did David Wayne's Middle Church, and then we did Mike Facera's records.
Right.
So we have a good writing rapport together. BJ's an excellent writer himself. And he knows he produces things too. He's a great arranger. So what I do is I'll give him something to work with, I'll come to him with kind of a complete song, what I think is a complete song.
Right.
And then I'll give it to him. I'll say, what do you think of this? And then he'll say, okay, this is good. Or he might say it's fine the way it is. Or he'll say, let's move this part. Let's cut this. Let's let's do this at the beginning. He'll come up with an idea for beginning, endings, and whatnot.
Right.
And that's how we work together. We do all this before we send the song down to James. Before we send it to Florida, where James lives.
Okay.
And that's our whole system. So we'll do it like that. Then we send it to him, and then James will say, okay, I like this. Okay, it's good the way it is, but no, maybe I'll move this. I'll extend this and everything. He'll do what he needs to make it proper for the vocals. Or he might hear a whole nother part, and then he'll say, I'm cutting this out. Let me add this, and then he'll play something on the keyboards or a guitar thing that he wants there, and then I'll have to replay it. Right. So, anyways, we work together great. We've been doing it like that since 2005.
And that makes it easy for you guys as musicians too, and as songwriters, to have that rapport, to be friends and be comfortable enough to to deliver something like that.
Yeah, it's really a gift when you find not only musicians that you love to play with, but someone that you can write with.
Right.
And you're not opposed to taking any criticism or anything. Like literally, I've brought stuff over, to BJ and played it, and he says, he'll say, "What else do you have?" Like that. And so it's not that but that was more or less in the beginning. Usually, it's usually kind of spot on now. We figured it out after we're on the 7th record with this band with this
That's amazing.
And we were very fortunate since Chris McCarville had left the band a year and a half ago to find our new bass player, Chris Tristram. He's formerly from Jack Russell's Great White, and he's a real gift. He's a unbelievable bass player. He sings really, really good. He writes, and he's like an absolute wonderful gentleman. He fits in with us. We go out to dinner, we laugh. We have he's a buddy. We took him in instantly. Instantly we had a great connection with him. So we have a very good lineup with House of Lords. We're very fortunate.
I agree that you could really hear it in the new album how you guys gelled. It's everybody's really tight, and you can see that the band works well together. I mean, the harmonies, everything, the way it was structured, and you guys just flow. I mean, it's a big it's a big sound, a great album, and I really think it's going to do fantastic for you guys. I really do.
I appreciate that, John, very much. I really, really do. And we're proud of it. It was like I said, we wanted to try a little something different, as we do every record. But so on this one, we put a little bit more keyboards into this record as opposed to what we've done on the other ones. We always have keyboards in the record. Either a keyboard intro will start the record, and every song we have has got keys in it. But we went even a little bit more in this one. And one of the tracks that I always bring up is "Rain of Fire."
Right.
It was a track that when I first did it, it was a straight ahead, almost AC/DC track. As a matter of fact, I even had it starting like an AC/DC track, almost like Live Wire. The old Bon Scott song, and it had just the bass going boom, 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 like that.
Right.
And that's pretty much how the song started. But then when I got it back, when we listened to it, after James did his magic to it, it was like, oh my God. There's a mini moog in it, all this other stuff, things that we, and it took me a second to actually wrap my head around it, because I listened to it and I'm going, wow, that's a little strange. And then all of a sudden, the more I listened to it, I said, wow, I love this. This is like really, really cool. So
That's cool.
That's the yeah. You just never know what he's going to send back. Honestly, I mean, if you could hear the tracks raw that we sent him down, and then what they come back as, it's really something.
That's cool to hear how how the things are how the songs are written, and as a fan, when I look at it, I think I look at the song differently, and I hear it the first time or even the first few times, and then now I know how it was written. I look at it from a different perspective, and I think that's really cool to to look at it that way.
Yes, absolutely. And take a tune like with our video Harlequin that we did.
Right.
I was very, very fortunate to become friends with Mikel Lupi from Whitesnake.
Right.
Freak thing. I was me and my fiance Amanda we were at a Whitesnake show. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
And there was no opening band, so it was at a casino in Rhode Island, and so we said, "Oh, let's take a picture in front of the stage." The big Whitesnake banner was there and stuff. So we took a picture, and we posted it on Facebook.
Right.
And we see the show; it's totally amazing. And next day I wake up and I'm looking through my phone, and I have a message, in Facebook Messenger from this guy, Mikel Lupi. He goes, "Hey, I didn't know you were at the show. I'm a huge fan and always have been from the very first record." And I'm going like, I'm going, who the hell is this? And then, so I'm looking it up. I say, oh my God, it's the keyboard player for Whitesnake. I didn't know, he even knew. So how
That's
it
cool.
was is that his girlfriend is a friend of mine. She lives over in Sweden.
Okay.
And she saw the picture on Facebook. She contacted him and said, "Hey, the guitar player for House of Lords is in the audience." So that's how he knew. I mean,
that's great.
Social media does have its advantages at sometimes.
It does.
So.
It does. You're right.
So we became. I went to his next show. I contacted him, and he came out. The sweetest guy you'll ever meet, and he really is a fan. He's a huge, huge House of Lords fan. I mean, like since the very first record.
That's great.
He's done a Greg Jafria, House of Lords. I mean, everything. So, I had this idea. I said, "Geez, wouldn't it be great to see if he'd be interested in playing on this record or playing an intro?" I only thought, I never thought the video. Honestly, I didn't even get that far. I just wanted him to do see if he could do an intro for it.
Right.
Let alone he ended up playing through the whole song. Then let alone getting him in the video. I mean, this is like a really big deal. So it came out incredible.
It did.
And then I approached him about the video. Said, "Hey, we're going to do this for a video, and is there any chance you could possibly?" And he asked David Coverdale, and David gave him his blessing. I mean, what a great guy that is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how cool is that David let him do that?
Right.
And there you go. That's how that whole thing, went. And then, the video, we had an opportunity to go film it at this place. It's the old Norwich, insane asylum that's been shut down for years. And and it actually has a history. It's, ghost hunters have gone there. It's like one of the top 10 haunted places in the U.S.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so we had an opportunity to go film there. Some freaky stuff. Honestly, when you first walk into these buildings, it's there's a whole bunch of buildings that are all abandoned, and
right.
When you get in there, it's kind of freaky. But then I went back there 6-7 times, so I got kind of used to it pretty fast.
You guys woke up the spirits, huh?
Yeah, well, you never know. We have people that think we caught some stuff on film, so we're going to have it examined by people that are really, because when you're in that environment, you just never know what you're going to get on film.
Right.
So we'll have it looked at.
And that video is great too, and I mean, not to mention the song is fantastic, and Mikel doing the keyboards and everything. Boy, did he fit the band perfectly. I mean, that was a great call.
He really does. his intro is incredible. When he sent it back the first time, it was like, whoa, this is. I mean, the guy's a pro. Mikel is he's not only a great keyboard player, but he plays everything. He sings incredible. His voice is amazing. I mean, if you ever seen any of his other stuff, he plays guitar, bass, everything. I mean, these accomplished musicians that are out there that you think that just play one instrument. A lot of people don't even know that about James. They think that James, just sings. James plays basically all the keyboards on all the House of Lords songs. Every once in a while, we'll have somebody else do a keyboard thing, but most of the time, that's James playing keyboards, and some tracks he plays bass. He'll go in there and play some bass stuff on some of the first CDs and stuff. So incredible musician.
He really is, and all you guys in that band. I mean.
Yeah, no, BJ. I've worked with a lot of drummers and known a lot of drummers. BJ is a powerhouse, and he is. I call him the living metronome because, honest, the guy is as solid and on the beat as you could ever get. It's amazing. He's so rock solid, and his timing is impeccable. One of the best drummers that you'll ever hear. Seriously.
That makes it easy for you guys, again, as, songwriters, musicians. You got a guy like that, leading the way.
Yeah.
That's really the backbone.
You need that. You need, when you're looking at bands and stuff like that, there's, a million, billion great guitar players out there. There really are. They're all over the place now. I say this all the time, when I watch these young kids that are playing that are just destroying the guitar, I go like, oh my God,
right.
I can't believe this, and when I was learning guitar, there was no such thing as the internet, not even a computer when I was learning guitar. We're talking, early 70s here that I was having to learn, and all I had was a record player trying to train my ear and slow a record down to speed 16 on that's what I did.
That's true. True.
Yeah, there was 3 speeds on a record player, and I would take a record and I would slow it down to speed 16 to try and learn Richie Blackmore's guitar licks, and
right.
And it was really hard. Nowadays on the computer, you just pop in the song, you hit learn guitar lesson, and there's a guy there, several guys that will play it.
Right.
Very slow and perfect, and so you can learn it.
Right.
And I just wish I had that back then. Although there is an advantage to having an ear training and stuff. The way that we did it.
Right.
But hey, it's great to see all the young musicians out there. But what I was saying is that when you get to play with a group of musicians like BJ and Chris, there's you see all these guys that are out there, these unbelievable bass players that could play all over the place on the bass even and stuff.
Right.
To me, that's totally amazing, and I totally appreciate their talent. But what really makes a band solid is when that bass player and that drummer are just locking in on this solid groove, like something that holds the foundation of the band.
Right.
Because if you got a bass player that's going all over the place, and you got a drummer that's going all over the place, and you got a guitar player shredding all over the place, the band is just like falling apart in places.
Right.
It's the solid bass just like locking in with that kick drum going. I don't care if a bass player just plays one note. You know that? I really don't. If a bass player plays his low E string and just goes boom, 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 locking it in with the kick drum and the drummer, to me that's like, hey, listen to AC/DC. They're my favorite. They're my favorite band in the world. They just, every song that they do makes my foot start tapping. There's not a song of theirs that I can't tap my foot to.
Right.
I go, this is killing. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right. And they locked that in for so many years too. That sound, and it's it's been amazing since day one.
It has been, and for a band that just takes basically your same group of chords and comes up with a zillion songs off of those same group of chords,
right.
Changing them around. They've come up with a real lot of great songs just bouncing that stuff around.
Absolutely.
But every version of that band, even with Bon Johnson and Bon Scott and Brian Johnson, you gotta love them. There's nothing like as soon as I start hearing Thunderstruck and I hear Angus doing that riff at the beginning of the guitar, I start going, "Oh my God, this is great!"
right. And they have. I mean, they. And really the Bon Scott stuff. I know growing up as coming up as a kid, and that was the stuff that we grew up on. We were listening to the cassettes back then. Ozzy with Randy Rhoads, Diary of a Madman, and Hell's Bells came out, and Def Leppard, Pyromania, and all great albums. I mean, those are classics.
Oh yeah, Def Leppard, incredible. I hadn't seen Def Leppard ever in my life until a couple of years ago at Mohegan Sun, and it was a shame because I never got to see it before, and they were phenomenal. I was like, wow, right. I never got to see this band before, and here they are, like not even in their prime, and what they were like years ago, and they were outstanding, like unbelievable still,
Right,
they're
right.
Just,
yeah, once you have it, I mean, for so long, there's a professionalism that sets in. You go from a young band, and I see that a lot in you guys too. I mean, the professionalism is there, and the strength of the music just continues to grow, and your live sound. I've seen I was watching some of the stuff on YouTube for a few days, and the band harmonizes well live. And there's a lot of bands that are great out there, but there's not a ton of bands that can cop it live, and you guys are one of them, and I think that says a ton.
Well, there's so much that has to go into doing a show live too. It's a lot. We practice. We always working on stuff and always trying to improve everything all the time. So
right.
But I appreciate it, man. I love the fact that you're liking the record. The record is like something to be very proud of. I like the opening track.
Awesome.
Saint of the Lost Souls there. It's got some real drive to it.
That really does. Was that something that you kind of took charge of? Because your sound is, like I said in the review, is prominent throughout the album, and I think that's great because it's it's a little more, has a little more heaviness to it.
Well, we tried different things with the recording of the guitar. We don't, like I said, we right down to the whole thing of trying to make the songs more and more interesting.
Right.
We always we experiment with different guitar sounds sometimes too. The last few records, I used to use a simulated guitar thing, like things through the computer, and then I had used in the early days. I was first few records I was using a Line 6 pod and stuff, and then changing things around. On the last few records, we went back to using like a real, Marshalls, half stack of Marshall that I use, and we set the cabinet up in a different room, and we have what we do is we'll record one rhythm track, hard left, hard right, and then and we don't overlayer too much stuff anymore with the guitars.
Right.
Before I used to do like several tracks, and we got rid of that. Now it's a very simple process, and it allows when James adds the keyboards to the tracks, it makes everything stand out. It's not as cluttered, you know.
Right.
And another thing that I did differently that I hadn't done on any of the other records was that I worked out all my guitar solos in advance.
Oh, that's cool.
I hadn't done that before. Usually I would go and we would get to the solo section, and
Right.
we would do 2 or 3 takes of it, and then BJ would say, "Yeah, that's a good one," and then we agree on it, and
Right.
then that would be the solo. This time I came in more prepped. I tried to work out some things, and it really helped. I wish I had done this years ago because it was a big deal.
You know what?
never know.
You're talking about solos on this album. The solo for Ocean's Divide, I mean, that rips. It fits the song perfectly, and it does the whole way through the album. You really nailed it, man, on this one.
Oh, thank you. That's actually the first track we recorded for the record, Ocean's Divide, and that was the I had worked out that solo section, and then it went to it altered slightly. I had something else at the very beginning part of it, not the very beginning, but the second section in.
Right.
And for some reason, when I played it, it wasn't the way that I had worked it out, but I liked what I did, so we left it. But it was very similar, so.
Right.
You just got to go for it.
And you definitely did, and when we talk about that, the new album, and like I said, I've listened to it 4 or 5 times through already, and I just put it in and go all the way through.
Oh, that's good. What's your favorite track on there so far that you've listened to? Which one really catches you?
You know what?
Is it Ocean's Divide?
What I was going to say is, I think Saint of the Lost Souls. And what's funny about the whole thing is, every time I go through it, I pick out a song and I'm thinking, oh man, this is incredible. I mean, it's one of those albums, I mean, you like it right from the beginning, but you just absolutely love it by the time you listen through it a few times. It's that good, Jimmy. It's a great album.
Oh, thank you. I love Saint of the Lost Souls. I like the whole track. I also really enjoy Hit the Wall, believe it or not, the mid-tempo ballad. I just
Another
love
good
what
one.
James did to that. When I heard that, when he came back with it, I went, yeah. I said, this is great. The harmony and everything.
It really is.
Something.
It really is that the whole thing. I mean, I think about like Art of Letting Go and like you mentioned Rain of Fire before. It's an album that touches a lot of different audiences too. I mean, you got the guys that like the heavier stuff and the hard rock, and you got the guys that like the ballads, and the people that like the mid-tempo stuff. It touches everything, and I think it's a broad perspective that it hits, and I really love it.
Well, I appreciate that, John, so much. Yeah, we're hoping that it gets released on March 24th.
Right.
And we're hoping that it does well. And so far, all the reviews on it have been spectacular. I'm very, very pleased.
Right.
And we're just hoping that it really does well. And we have a tour coming up. We're going to be heading out. We start at the Hull City in the UK at Hair Metal Heaven
cool.
Festival.
Great.
Yeah, that's like the last weekend of August, and then from there we stay out for 2 months over in Europe, and we have just signed on with Ashley Talent International, who
right,
and they're going to be really doing a lot of work for House of Lords in the U.S. They're willing to really do what we want to. Get behind us and put us back in the U.S. market, which is what we were, have really wanted to do. Because over in Europe, it's not a problem.
Right.
But we wanted to get back in the U.S. and perform, in here,
right.
in our home.
Right.
And in this, they've got a decent roster of people that they handle, and I really feel they're going to do a good job. We're really honored to be with them.
I know you were telling me about that, and I got it out there too. Some of the people here in Pittsburgh, and we really love to have you here. to see the band.
Please do. Just please do.
I'll keep pushing it, man.
Yeah, just do that for me, John. Please.
You got it.
I want to play there. Let's just get there. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, there's
beautiful.
Like I was telling you, that place out in it's in Warrendale, Pennsylvania, called Jurgles, and they have Winger and Night Ranger both coming in. Mr. Big's coming in, I think in May. So Night Ranger, Winger in April, and May Mr. Big is coming in. So those guys seem like they're bringing in that style of music. That's what they want to keep in there. So you guys are perfect for that.
Yeah, that's the place to play. Absolutely.
It definitely is, and I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'll keep pushing it. And
that's great.
With the new album, we were talking about how you guys are putting the tour together, and with the band being so accomplished right now, and with so much material, how do you guys go about picking out songs from the new album to play live? Because there's so many good ones.
Well, that's an issue actually, because once the more albums you put out, now we're one of the only bands from our genre that puts out an album almost every year and a half. A lot of bands don't do that. A lot of them just just play their old hits, and and that's fine. People love that, because a lot of times people don't like new material and stuff. But when we're very fortunate that our fans all know our new material. Like when we tour Europe, it's not that they don't want to just hear Love Don't Lie, Can't Find My Way Home, stuff from before I was even in the band. They all know the new material when we play, but when you have that many records out, you have to really think about it, how you're going to do this. Now, there are songs like that we have to play from the first, we have to play Wanna Be Loved, Love Don't Lie, Can't Find My Way Home. Those three we have to play no matter what. Right. We also do a couple others from the early days. We still do about 6 songs from the first 3 albums. But then we go into what we've done from 2005 on, and then we got like 1 or 2 from World Upside Down. And then we played a title track for Come to My Kingdom. We played a title track for Cartesian Dreams. We played a title track for Big Money. Good stuff. We do the first. We do our video. And we do the first song, Battle, from Precious Metal. But every record, every time we put out a record, when we go out and tour, we usually do 2 or 3 songs from that record, and then it gets put to one. The strongest song of it. So on Indestructible, we still do Go to Hell. And now we'll be doing live Saint of the Lost Souls, Hit the Wall, and of course Harlequin, the video. And there's so many others that we could do, but we just you gotta figure out. You gotta pick what's right. And we picked those because, especially, we really wanted to do Hit the Wall, and so far we did 1 show, and it went over great. That's great. So the 3 that we picked, and so the set seems to be running pretty smooth. So I think we're going to go with it like that for the tour. That's great. What we have, and hope for the best. And I guess that was some of the stuff I heard. I saw on YouTube the show that you guys did, and it sounded fantastic. It's always cool to to see the new material coming out, even before the album hits. Yeah, well, we did a show because James was coming up. James lives in Florida, and we're in Connecticut, so we had to film the rest of the video. So he was coming up to do his parts in the video, and we said, well, seeing he's up here, let's do a show. How about that? Might as well. He's going to be here. It's not that often we get him up here until it's time. Usually what we do is, before we leave on tour, James will come up 4 days in advance, and we'll rehearse for 4 days solid.
Right.
And of course, we practice on our own too. Like, the BJ, Chris, and myself will get together. The band, and we'll get together and go over everything, so we're connected.
Right.
And then he'll come up, and then we pipe in our keyboards, and then we're all set. So we don't need like a tremendous amount of rehearsal.
Right.
And what happens is, you can rehearse all you want, but the real gelling of the band happens after the first few shows, the first week of gigs that you're doing.
Right.
All of a sudden, the band really gels together. You start really locking in.
Right.
Because everything changes when you're out in front of people. It doesn't matter. You can practice all you want, standing up or whatever in a big studio,
right,
or a rehearsal room, whatever it is.
Right.
But it totally changes. And I'll give you an example of how that happened. This particular gig that we just did with James, where you saw the video clips from.
Right.
I had a real hard time that night, and I'll tell you why. Because I had tried a whole different guitar. I tried something I never did before in my life. I played a guitar that had a scalped fingerboard. Now I had done this on Monday.
Okay.
And I've never played a guitar that had all the frets scalped out from underneath it. A friend of mine recommended it.
Okay.
And at first I was, I was having a little bit of a hard time with it. But then finally it all, seemed to gel pretty good. I was playing it, and the more I played it, I said, hey, this is pretty cool. Okay, I can do this. So I brought it to rehearsal, and we rehearsed 3 days with it, and everything was fine. I go to the show, and as soon as, everything changed because there was an audience.
Right, right.
All of a sudden the guitar, was fighting me. Unbelievable. And I was fighting this instrument the whole time, and all I had to do was turn around and take it off and pick up my good old guitar that was right behind me on the guitar stand.
Right.
But I was so distracted fighting this guitar the whole time, I forgot the guitar was behind me. So I sat there and decided to fight this bastard the whole time, and I was going, But hey, it was an experience, So the next day, I call up the guy that built it for me down in Florida, my Dale Roberts, who builds all my guitars for me in Jacksonville. I said, Dale, I messed up this whole guitar. I scalped the whole fingerboard. And he goes, all right, send it down. I sent it down. He took the fingerboard off in a day, got it back to me within 3 days. It was just,
Hey, that happens. I mean, I can just imagine some of the stories you have about the different instruments and some of the things on stage after all the years.
You got to be comfortable up there,
right.
Being, unless it's something you've played with for years, a guitar like that. You don't experiment, especially at a House of Lords show. I play local gigs with bands around here in Connecticut. I should have just used my normal guitar for House of Lords, and then brought it out and tried to get used to it throughout my local shows and stuff. And not really.
Right.
The pressure would have been different. But it was, the place was jam packed, and I'm going, wow, it's a great crowd. Then all of a sudden, I was struggling. And it was, Hey, John, you know what? I still learn. I learn lessons still throughout my life. And, you never stop. These are all just like little things that you got to, they're all little wake-up calls. You go, hey, man, okay, I can't do that live? Okay, that's good to know.
Right. And then change up when you need to.
Yeah, it didn't happen, but that's all right.
Hey, how about, I was always curious, since the beginning, I thought that you fit the House of Lords band perfectly. I thought that was a great choice. Now, what's the story behind that? Now, how did you end up getting into House of Lords?
Well, believe it or not, James Christian is from Connecticut.
Okay.
He was in a local band here back in the 80s called Eyes. And I was in a band, a real popular band called Joint Forces.
Right,
and Eyes was a very popular popular band. They did a little bit of more mixture. They did some covers. They had originals,
Okay.
good ones too, and but they did covers as well. Joint Forces didn't do any covers. We were strictly an original act.
Right.
And so we played the same circuit, so we knew of each other. In fact, I was playing a gig, and James just got in House of Lords, and he came home for a visit.
Okay.
And he came to the show, and he got up on stage and played with us. And I have a photo of that, so it's kind of classic. A picture of him doing. We did Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll.
That's cool.
And so there's a picture of James and I on stage years before we were in House of Lords together. Pretty funny. But that's how we knew each other. But funny thing is that apparently when the House of Lords, when the original band was together, they were looking for another guitar player.
Right.
And I know my video got sent in, a video of me playing with Geezer Butler, and James never saw it. Because he said, Jimmy, he says, if I had seen your video, I know who you are. He says, we would have definitely have taken you.
Right.
So there almost could have been a chance that I would have been in the band years and years ago. But,
right.
That's just the way it is. He remembered, and one day I got a call from him in Florida, and he said, I'm putting the band back together, and then that's, the rest is history. He didn't have a full band. He just wanted to talk to me at first.
Right.
And that's when I just said, well, I've got the drummer. I said, and I says, I write with him. He's a great drummer, but James is real particular about musicians. So,
Right.
He basically had to, he wanted to hear BJ and stuff like that. But I mean, within seconds, it was, he knew right off the bat. As soon as he heard one thing from BJ, he knew that he was a great drummer, and that was it.
It clicked.
Yeah. And then I got Chris McCarville in, and Chris was a fan of House of Lords too. He actually had seen the band when they played locally up here, and he had loved the original bass player Chuck Wright, and so Chris was in it for quite a while. He was a great guy. We still have our band. We still have our side project, me, BJ, and Chris, Max Explosion. We still do that.
Right.
Which is a great band, all original trio. Really, really cool.
That's cool stuff, and I bet you that helps. All the different things that you're doing.
It does. It helped, especially when before Chris just got back with Doc a little bit ago.
Right.
But during the whole time, actually when Chris was in House of Lords with us, actually Max opened for House of Lords a couple times, so we actually played twice. On our tour.
That's cool.
Europe. Hey.
Yeah. That has to be tough to play two sets like that, huh?
Yeah. It was. Well, we actually even did more than that a couple times because at one particular tour, we went out with James's wife, Robin Beck, and Robin is an incredible singer. She was very well known in Europe. She started out in the 80s. She had a #1 hit which started with a Coca-Cola commercial.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she did a Coca-Cola commercial. The song, First Time, is the tune, became a #1 hit. Okay. And so, they, every once in a while, we've gone out and played as her band. She'll come out and sing, and so we did a set for Robin. And then the House of Lords played a set, so we were up there the whole time.
Right, that's well, that's your passion, man. You got to love that.
Oh yeah, I'm one of these guys that I don't like to take a break. You know how bands, local bands and stuff, they'll do, some of them do 3 sets, and they'll take 2 breaks and stuff. I cry when I have to take 1 break. I want to get up there and just play straight through. I don't want to break. It's ridiculous. Right. When I get going on the guitar, when I start doing a show, I want to play straight through. I don't want to take a break. It's it's the way I am. I'd rather go up start a little later, play an entire set, the whole hour and a half, 2 hour set straight through.
Right.
Done it many times, and then call it a day.
Right. Come out for an encore, like a 5-minute break. Hit an encore, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. Just like, what it is I practice a lot.
Right.
And still, even at my age of 59 years old, I still got to practice a lot. And
right.
It's one of those things that my hands, I got to keep them going the whole time. So if I take a break
right.
in between a show, I have to, keep practicing during the break.
Right.
And that's
right.
something it's just the way I'm conditioned. I play right up to showtime. I usually play all day during the day, play up to showtime,
right.
play all through the show. And when I'm done playing the night, that's the only time that guitar goes away. Like I
right.
said, if the band does have to take a break for a half hour or something in between,
right.
I'm sitting there playing my guitar the entire break.
That's pretty cool.
So that's why being in House of Lords is great also,
right.
because we only do, we go up and play an hour and a half show, and,
right.
and that's it. So.
And that's where, like I was talking before, the professionalism, in you, and, and you see that. I mean, the quality of your playing is, it sets you apart. There's a lot of great guitarists, like you said, but there's a lot of guys where you could say, hey, that's Jimi Bell right there. The style, and it really is. It means a lot.
Thank you. I've been out there for so long, dude. I mean, it's like
Right.
I'm sure that I was a second choice for Ozzy back in the day. It was between Zakk Wylde and myself, and
right.
And that was just like to come that close to being with Ozzy is
right.
That was a huge thing. Very big disappointment, obviously, but
sure.
Still to get to be second choice for it is pretty sick. And then working with Geezer Butler from Sabbath, that was a great thing.
Right.
I've been very blessed, to do the things that I've done. And that, I guess that's what just keeps me going. It's put me at that point where I've never stopped. I just keep going and going. It's
right.
It's what I love to do. It's my passion. It's always, guitar's been in my hands since I was, 13, 14 years old. I was a drummer, before I was a guitarist.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, from age 10 to 13. I actually, I had a scholarship for drums. I did rudiments. I took from the Hartford Conservatory of Music, and so I was learning like symphony orchestra type stuff, playing just a snare drum. They didn't teach you on a drum set.
Yeah.
So I was playing basically the snare drum. I had to learn all the rudiments and everything, and learn marimba and vibes and percussion stuff.
Right.
And but I did have a drum set. I knew how to play drums, and I was jamming with some guys at my house. They were high school kids, and one day the guitar player left his guitar out and over the house with his big muff fuzz, and I said, oh, I'm going to mess around with this. I turned on the amp and picked up his guitar, and of course I'm left-handed, so I had to play the guitar upside down.
Right.
And I turned on the big muff fuzz, and oh my God, I just fell in love with it. I hit that low E string with the big muff fuzz on. I was going, oh my God, this is great. I don't want to play drums anymore. This is what I want to do. I swear to God, it was that fast. It was literally that fast. No sooner did I play that guitar through that amp and the big muff fuzz than that I gave up drums.
Right.
I just said to my dad, Dad, I got to play guitar. I had an acoustic guitar, an old Ovation acoustic that my dad turned around left-handed for me. And I said,
That's
Dad,
cool.
I need an electric guitar. Well, that wasn't going to happen right away. So we got a pickup that went in the sound hole of the acoustic guitar.
Oh, that's cool.
I got a fuzz box and a wah-wah.
Yeah.
And I played an acoustic guitar through an amp with a fuzz box and a wah-wah on 50,000 volume. And the thing was squealing, humming, doing everything in the world, and then finally my dad got me a real electric guitar, and then it went on from there.
That's really cool.
I must have had over 100 guitars left-handed, all good ones in my years of playing.
Right.
I still got about a good 50 of them and stuff.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, it's a great life. I hope to keep going for a long time. You know.
I hope you do too, man. I really do. And that you were talking about the the runner-up for Ozzy's band in '86. What was the story behind that? And I saw the first tour with Zakk Wylde, and I think Zack's a great guitarist, and it kind of seemed to me like when I look at you being one of the the runner-up there, it kind of seemed to me like Ozzy was trying to go back to somebody that even looked like Randy Rhoads. The kind of
exactly, yeah,
and that's really what I saw.
Yeah, don't take away anything from Zakk. Zack's an incredible monster. And he really is. He's a monster, and he's a great guy. We joke around a lot when we see each other. He's pretty funny. They had already picked Zakk. I was an afterthought. I was with the Kramer Guitar Company. I was endorsed by them. I was their only unsigned artist that they had.
Okay.
The president of Kramer loved me, Dennis Berardi. He saw me play, saw videos of me play. Floyd Rose himself, the guy that invented the Floyd Rose tremolo, saw me play and flipped out, told Dennis Berardi about me, and they all came to see me, and they offered me a full endorsement, and I went to, I played a couple of the NAMM shows for Kramer and Seymour Duncan, and that whole thing with Ozzy came up, and they sent my videotape out. I didn't know they did that.
Right, that's cool.
And they sent it. Sharon Osbourne got it and loved it. And so Kramer called me on a Wednesday and says, "Hey, you got to get to California. You're going to go audition for Ozzy. They want to see you." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Okay.
Cool.
When am I going? Monday or Tuesday? Next Monday or what?" They said, "No, now. Get to the airport. Your ticket is bought. You have to get there now."
No pressure, huh?
Yeah, it's like I'm going. What do you mean now? This is like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
No, your ticket's paid for. You got a 2 o'clock flight to get there.
Oh man.
So I went there. And I auditioned with Randy Castile and Phil Suzanne. They were the bass players, the bass player drummer.
Right. At
the time, Sharon sat there and sat in while I played. She actually sat in and out. You didn't go there and play with Ozzy. There was
right.
There was well over 500 people that did that audition.
Right.
So Randy and Phil had to weed through all those people, but Sharon decided to see if what was on the videotape was actually real, and so she sat there and watched, and the next day I got to play on stage with Ozzy.
Wow.
We went to this big sound studio, some other place, and in walks Ozzy Osbourne, and of course my heart was pumping through my,
Oh, I'm sure.
You gotta know. I mean, it's still, it's freaky to see this. These are people that, they're normal, they're just everyday people, and,
right.
It's still a big deal, so.
Right.
And,
absolutely.
So I got up there, and, I started to do I Don't Know. And he started doing, he was really loving it. He started rocking back and forth with the microphone the way he does. And
right.
And when I soloed, he got down in front of my amplifier and listened,
Right.
And then after I was done, I played about 5 songs, and I had to do a guitar solo by myself. And when I got, all finished, they sat down and just said, "Well, it's between you and Zakk."
Wow.
So, that was kind of freaky. But, obviously we know what happened. But, Zakk really did. He had the long blonde hair. He played the Les Paul. He looked like Randy. He had that. It was that type of thing. And then, of course, someone had brought up to me, I just said this in another interview the other day, said, "Jimmy, not for nothing, but you're left-handed." And, Tony Iommi was left-handed, and maybe Ozzy had to sing against the, kind of related that to it. I didn't think so, but you never know. Someone,
Right.
Ozzy could have looked at me and said, "Oh, another left-handed guitarist," or something.
Right.
Could have been something as stupid as that.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. It's just it's just fate. I mean, there's things that were meant to be, and now you're. The word's getting out about how great of a guitarist you are, even more so now with House of Lords and the things that you're doing right now, and it's really incredible. It's great to see, though.
No, I appreciate it, man. All I do is, I love what I do. I always have, and it's my passion, it's my life, and it's what I'm going to continue to do. I'll play guitar until I physically can't play guitar anymore, which I really hope is for quite a while longer.
Right. And we all hope the same.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Hey, how about some of the stuff that you came up with? Coming up as a musician, the bands like Most Wanted and Joint Forces and stuff. It was like straight up melodic metal, and that's that's right in my wheelhouse too. So when I listen to that stuff, I'm like, man, that's some good stuff there. So what about some of those bands? Like how did all that start? Back in your earlier years.
Wow. Well, oh God, like my history is so long, it's unbelievable. I was in even going back further, I was in a band that was, in Montreal, Canada. I actually ended up playing with some band up there that was signed with a production deal with this producer that produced Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and that band did all originals, and then cool. we did a record, and we did demo tapes back then, and we sent him. The guy kept shopping into New York, and these people were going to take us on. They said, "You're going to be the next Led Zeppelin."
Right. No.
It's going to be the contract's going to be signed any day. This is it.
Right.
I remember about 24, 25 times the producer calling me saying the contract is getting signed this week.
Right.
And then finally, you have your hopes up and up. I call my father, my parents, Dad, it's finally happening, and nothing, so many times. And then I came back to Connecticut, and Joint Forces started, and there was a cover band version of it at first, but then we ended up coming out with all original stuff, and I had a best friend of mine, Mark Franco, a bass player that I went to high school with, and him and I were just best buds forever.
Right.
And he's one of those guys that's a rock solid bass player, like I'm talking about. He's got chops, but he never plays them. He'd rather just play the low E, lock into the drummer.
Right.
That's his whole thing is locking in a groove,
Right.
And so we got together and we came out and joined forces, and all of a sudden that band exploded in the area. I mean,
right.
We're talking about 1983, 84. We took a big chance. We said, okay, we're going to come out and do one set of all original music, and then
right.
And that's what we did, and it took off. I mean, there were places to play back then too, but we never played for less than 500. 400, 500, 600.
Nice,
one time we played for there was 1,000 people that came out to say. I mean, stupid.
Right.
Things that don't exist anymore.
Right.
But it was great, and that band just built up, and then we got to do a few things. We went out, did a tour with Joan Jett.
Right,
and then
that's cool.
The band got to appear in the movie Light of Day with Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett, and
right.
Joan is such a sweetheart. Her and I really, really hit it off. We got to be, I got to talk with her a lot, and hang out with her a bit. She's the most, what a sweetheart she is. Michael J. Fox was the same way. Unbelievable guy. Was so interested in my guitar playing, just to sit and talk guitar because he plays guitar.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if he still can, but
right.
He was another one that was just an amazing person. So that all led up. The Joint Forces thing led up to that point of the Ozzy thing, and
right.
then that disappeared. Then we came back and got Most Wanted together. I called Mark, and we got Most Wanted together. And then a second version of Joint Forces came out with my friend Livio singing,
Right.
And we were writing some really good songs. You know, we had some really good things we showcased, and they all liked the band, but not one of them took it. They liked one of the songs a lot and stuff. There was just one of those things, you know. It was just,
Right.
Times were changing when that band came out. That's, you know, you're talking House of Lords that just got signed, but we came out with the new version of Joint Forces, and then all of a sudden,
Right.
started coming in with the Nirvana scene and Seattle scene, and
Right.
it just killed all that music, which you know, and
Right.
that's what happened to House of Lords. It got lost in the shuffle. So.
You know, that's a shame, really, that happened. I mean, it's I've been listening to it, and I've been following the melodic hard rock, since day one.
Right.
And even through all that stuff, still listening to it. But it's a shame that really what happened to that great music. And now that it seems like it's making a comeback, I'm talking to.
It is for sure. Luckily, the bands that were real popular, like your Motley Crue, your Poison.
Right.
Those bands were able to survive, stay strong through the whole Nirvana scene. They didn't get squashed.
Right.
But if you weren't a band that was, like that, a lot of them got squished when that whole thing happened. But
Right.
hey, all these bands are out there still doing it. They're the thing that makes it great is you get these. When they group the bands together, that's a great thing. You put a festival or a show on, you get like three or four of your favorite bands all
Right.
playing the one show.
Right.
That's what they do to bring in the audience, and it works. It really does. It's a great thing.
It's good that they're doing that too. And what's nice that we were just talking about too is the way the music scene is changing. It seems like people are tired of that instant gratification that we've been seeing a lot in America, and then getting the guys out there and seeing the younger kids at the shows that are seeing, hey, I could be a musician, and it's really an art form, and to see the younger guys getting out there and embracing that is really cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's like I said, John, I'm just so happy to be out there and doing what I'm doing still, and I'm just hoping that to keep doing it, and I want to tour the U.S. this year,
Right.
And I'm hoping to see you. I'm hoping that.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm hoping to get out there and see you soon. It'd be great.
I definitely do want to have a chance to meet you, Jimmy, and you guys, I appreciate it as a fan what you've done, over the course of your career and the House of Lords band. And I tell all the guys that it's part of my life. It's something that I look back on and say, hey, I remember when I heard like Hearts of the World from the first, House of Lords album, and
Yeah.
all the stuff going all the way through. It takes you back to different segments in your life, and it kind of ties in. And I think that's what I appreciate about the music and about the artists and everything that you guys sacrifice to do what you love, and you do it for your fans as well as yourself, and that's what
fans
means a ton.
mean everything to us. It really does. I mean, without your fans and the support of your fans, it's
Right.
it's pointless. But when you see these people that absolutely, we get messages from all over the world how much they love the band, how much they love the music, and
Right.
it means the world to us. That's what it's all about. It's we get it means so much for us to perform and play for these people and write songs and put out records.
Right.
But when they come back and show their appreciation the way that they do, that just makes it all worthwhile right there. It does, makes everything all perfect. And that's what we love.
That helps you to keep doing it too, keep driving.
Oh yeah. I can't wait to do the next record. I'm all set.
Boy, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to that already.
Oh, beautiful. Well, we appreciate it.
This one is incredible. I know you got a couple interviews coming up, so I don't know how much more time we have. But
yeah, I actually got to get ready. I got one calling in pretty any time here now.
Okay.
So but I'm glad I got to speak to you as long as I did. Actually,
I think it's awesome. It's an honor to have a chance to talk to you. I wish you guys nothing but the best, and I'll definitely keep spreading the word because the album's incredible. I have a couple copies on order already for some.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. So I'd imagine that they'd be in probably within the next week because I usually get my order maybe like a week before. So I can't wait to hear that thing in the car, man.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm looking. I need to get a copy of it myself. Can you send one?
Yeah, I'll send one to you.
No, I'm only kidding.
I'll definitely send one to you.
I usually, it's funny. I usually don't even pick up a copy of the CD until we're out on tour. I usually get it. Hey, I say to Jay, hey, I'm going to throw one of these in my bag. Okay, do you mind?
Hey, are you guys gonna last thing I want to ask you real quick? Are you guys gonna have the the merchandise out there on the site? Like the
yes,
like the shirts and things like that.
We just put out a new website this month. It's just a brand new official website. We just got our official House of Lords Legends of Rock page. That's our go-to Facebook page.
Right.
Everything is all lined up because we had to. We finally wanted to get all this stuff in order, especially for Ashley Talent and everything.
Right.
So
right.
there was a few other things out there from a long time ago, and people nothing's been done on them. People start pages and then don't do anything. So everything.
Right.
The House of Lords Legends of Rock Facebook page is our official page. That's maintained daily. The House of Lords Band.com is our new website, and that is maintained daily. So anything House of Lords Band, all one word, .com is our website, and you could find anything out about the band you need right there.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I've been sharing it for you guys too, so I know the YouTube page as well.
Oh, good.
To get that rolling.
Yeah, the YouTube page that'll be up and running. I guess that just got started, but that needs a full. I guess somebody, my administrator says it takes 30 days for it to be official. I don't know what that's all about. I go, okay, 30 days, good. Okay, let me know.
Yeah, 30 days. They're all like that, and it's crazy.
Yeah, but so everything's good. I appreciate this today, John. I really do. I hope you stay in touch with me, and
I definitely will.
When you finally do get the records, and you get to play it in the vehicle on 50,000 decibels, let me know what it's like.
Absolutely.
I want you to give me a call back.
You got it. And I wish you the best of luck with the album, and
thank you, my friend.
And everything. The tour. You guys are fantastic, and keep playing, my man, because you're an awesome guitarist. It's great to hear you.
Thank you. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. And absolutely. And like I said, definitely stay in touch with me. You've got all my Facebook info and everything, and it's great to hear from you.
Absolutely. I appreciate your time, Jimmy. Thanks a lot, my man.
Anytime, my friend. You take care of yourself.
You do the same. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.